You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, you got to wonder if this is about to spark something involving the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers very quickly, because all of a sudden Aaron Rodgers has another option, and it's not the Vikings. All right, we got breaking news right now. It just came out that Derek Carr may be out for the season for the New Orleans Saints. All right, Ian Rappaport suddenly have a major QB question. Starter Derek Carr is now dealing with a shoulder injury that threatens his availability for this season, sources say. Carr is weighing options, including a possibility of surgery. Now, Dr. Jesse Morse, who talks a lot about these injuries out there, here's what we're looking at. He says it sounds like a torn labrum. This is right here from the injury experts. Right here on 411, right shoulder labrum, ? No details, could threaten availability for the start of 2025. All right, surgery would traditionally take 6 months to return, which would put him in mid-October at the earliest. While a fracture is a possibility, it is less likely. He goes on to talk about rotator cuffs. This may shift the QB landscape a bit, where the Saints may consider signing Aaron Rodgers or even drafting a quarterback early like Shedeur Sanders. Well, they might draft Shedeur, but I kind of doubt it. With Kellen Moore down there, they'd come closer to drafting Tyler Shuck or Jaxson Dart, I think. So, right here, Saints quarterback, this is Fox 8 out of New Orleans, has suffered a shoulder injury that could sideline him for the upcoming NFL season. All right, he may miss the entire season. So, you got it. Enter in Aaron Rodgers. Now, look, I just did a video talking about doors that closed in Cleveland for Kirk Cousins. Would this be a perfect situation for Kirk Cousins? Yes. Are the Atlanta Falcons about to trade Kirk Cousins to the New Orleans Saints? I just don't think so. I don't think they're going to, one of their biggest rivals, maybe their biggest rival in division, they would have to really be sure Kirk Cousins is washed up. All right. Now, in case you're wondering, the Saints, they got some weapons. Chris Olave and Alvin Kamara down there. All right, they got some real guys on offense. They probably want to shore up their offensive line some there, but this makes some sense with Aaron Rodgers. Why? Because of the dome situation. Look, I fully believed he was about to sign with the Steelers, and maybe he is, but you're talking about a team in the dome that plays where? In the NFC South. So a bunch of his road games, Atlanta in a dome, Tampa Bay in Florida, and Carolina, where the weather's good there too. And your home games at home. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm thinking, oh, this is a perfect situation for a guy my age dealing with Kellen Moore at offensive coordinator. I think this, if Mike Tomlin was counting on Aaron Rodgers, this is going to get very interesting. New Orleans Saints need a new starting quarterback if they want to be a playoff contender. Kellen Moore could opt to turn to Spencer Rattler as his starter, but that would not be an ideal scenario. Look, let me keep it real. You notice when I talk about quarterbacks, I don't ever bring up Spencer Rattler from last year's draft. Stop it. These people that believe that guy can play, Spencer Rattler's not the dude. In my opinion, he wasn't that impressive in college, for crying out loud. All right, so here we go. Mike Florio, PFT, believes signing Rodgers is a scenario that the Saints will at least consider the idea of reaching out to Rodgers. Quote, with the Saints, quarterback Derek Carr reportedly suffering from a shoulder injury that could impact his availability for 2025, the Saints suddenly need a quarterback. And I can tell you right now, I'm close enough to the Saints that if they sign Aaron Rodgers, my ass is driving down there to see him play. And Aaron Rodgers is the best available free agent. Expect to see a report sooner than later that the Saints have reached out. Whether it goes anywhere remains to be seen. However, New Orleans becomes another option for Rodgers. And we know, look, he's eccentric. I've been to New Orleans many times. It's a different place. Now, it's been 20 years since I've been, but I used to go to Jazz Fest all the time down there. It seems like it's right down Aaron Rodgers' alley. I mean, really. In case you're wondering, when I was talking about quarterbacks earlier, I said Aaron Rodgers started playing a lot better during the second half of last year. I think because that Achilles tendon started getting better. Look at this. He got a lot better, folks. 4, 5, 8, 9, 13. He threw 4 touchdowns in the last game last year. All right, 14 touchdowns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 14 to 4 touchdown to interception ratio. By the way, threw for 339 yards, 289, 256, and 274. He was starting to get the ball down the field. That last half of the season, last third of the season, I think this is very interesting. In case you're wondering, this is PFF's QB grades. For 2024, Aaron Rodgers was ranked the 18th best quarterback in football. By the way, he was ranked ahead of Matthew Stafford, ranked ahead of Jordan Love, Bryce Young, who was having a comeback, and several other. Justin Fields, Tua Tagovailoa, Dak Prescott when he was still in there. So he's an option at starter, no doubt about it. In fact, can we just keep it real here? And I like Derek Carr. I do. But that's an upgrade, I think. The Saints could lose their starting quarterback and potentially upgrade. Now, in case you're wondering about contract, word has it he was willing to take less money to go to the Steelers. Whether or not he'd be willing to do that with the Saints, I don't know. Because I'm sure part of him going to the Steelers is playing for a hell of a coach like Mike Tomlin versus a first-year coach like Kellen Moore. That may be an issue. I think he's going to want a 2-year deal. He's going to want a 1-and-1. All right, he's going to want a 1-year contract, my guess, with an option for a second year. And I mean, I don't know what the Saints have to lose. Honestly, I mean, people can bitch and piss and moan about Aaron Rodgers. This is the stats. 63% last year, 3,900 yards, 28 touchdowns, 11 picks. What do you got to lose? And you want to talk about juicing real excitement into the New Orleans Saints? And I'm going to tell you, with Aaron Rodgers, the Saints got a chance to win that division next year. Can you imagine winning the division and having a home playoff game with Aaron Rodgers? I mean, you're closer to making something happen than you might think. All right? And we don't even know who they're going to draft. There's Tyler Warren rumors. There's Ashton Genty rumors. They could maybe grab Will Campbell for offensive. Like they could draft him as a guard. And he'd be an all-world guard at 9. This is really interesting. It really is. They could still take a quarterback. Put Jaxson Dart in there with Aaron Rodgers. Let him sit for a year or two and get ready. I think this changed everything. I think what you're going to see happen now is if Aaron Rodgers is going to the Steelers, it's going to get announced real damn quick. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.